So wacko, dark, and twisted land does exist. Or AKA whack dark and twisted things done in their land does exist. And these people are liars. All right, that's pretty much what I'm gonna title this. All right. Before I get into this, I'm gonna give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Basham Shah, Bahasham, or Hakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elder bishops of the Great Millstone Church. And salutations to the rest of you, hopefully like elders and Akim, also these same branches. So yeah, man. So the wacko, so wacko, dark, and twisted land does exist, and these people are liars, or AKA, so the wacko or wacko, dark and twisted things done in their land, all right, and lands does exist, and these people are liars. So you see here on the screen, or as you're about to hear, in your audio, it says, this is an article, it says Jeffrey Epstein claims Bill Gates. Jeffrey Epstein claims Bill Gates caught quote unquote, caught STI from Russian girls, quote unquote, in newly released email. It says DOJ documents released on Friday shows emails attributed to Jeffrey Epstein alleging Bill Gates sought to hide an STD and requested antibiotics to give surreptitiously to Melinda French Gates. All right. So this man was involved in, again, the wacko, dark and twisted land or things done in their lands. All right. And they're being, these so-called white people, these Edomites, those that's of the other side, those that so-called of the echelon of this world. All right. And the reason why I'm titling this lesson pretty much that, all right, so wacko, dark, and twisted land does exist, and these people are liars, or the things done, wacko, dark, and twisted things done in their lands does exist. All right, and these people are liars. The reason why I'm titling this is because it's a lot of so-called conspiracy theories and conspiracy labels, or first and foremost, there's a lot of conspiracy theories that these things exist. This how Hollywood works. This how the rich and famous operators. It's a lot of conspiracy theories when it comes to this. And also because, so that's one reason, but also because that conspiracy theorist label, right? A conspiracy theorist label is put upon anybody who may have insight or outright seen it. These things that they call conspiracy theories. All right, because a lot of these things are done in dark. All right, and so-called behind closed doors, only amongst their own. But everything comes to light, as the scriptures say. So with that being said, let's get the first scripture. So kicking us off here, it says Luke 8. In fact, this is Luke chapter 12 and 2 in the NLT. It says, the time is coming when everything that is covered up will be revealed, and all that is secret will be made known to all. All right. So there you have it. That includes these things that's up for debate, and they're just conspiracy theories. They're just things that we just can't know because you're not on that other side. You haven't crossed over to that other side. All right, or is to where these things that's being believed or being said but being doubted, that have people that push them pretty much labeled a hater, like if you believe these things, but or simply see these things, but because you're just saying that you don't have any proof. But pretty much the Lord said all these things to where that's secret, to where if someone goes on and pretty much tries to speak to it or be like, man, there's something weird going on over there, they get labeled a hater. Those things are not going to be hid anymore to where it's a secret or to where it can't be proven. They're going to come out. Ecclesiastes 12:14. For the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. All right? So the Lord is going to bring everything before his table and it's going to be dealt with in the way he wants dealt with. So this is why this is going on. Of all sorts, rather, wherever secret it may be, if it could be, again, just a little crew of people of Epstein's crew, Jeffrey Epstein or Epstein's crew. It could be the dang who people call the Illuminati. It could be the dang secrets of the international banking families. It could be, the secrets of Hollywood, the secrets of certain actors and celebrities, the secrets of whoever, man. He's going to bring it all into judgment to deal with it as it ought to be dealt with. All right. To respond to it as it ought to be responded to. So a lot of these people are getting their judgment right now. Bill Gates, Epstein, these Edomites, so forth and so on. No matter they were secret. All right, because they have people on the earth thinking they're somebody they not. I remember growing up, it used to be said like, you want to be like Bill Gates when you grow up, because he was the richest man known to people on the earth, if you will. That can't be said no more, man. Or you thought these people were so powerful and just, or whatever, they couldn't be touched, they wouldn't ever be exposed, you know what I'm saying? So who gonna believe? Nah, that's why these things that could make them as nothing before people and just truly as they are, which is just a more creepy, wacko, dark and twisted, psychotic, so-called white people. All right. People that think they big and somebody they not, man. Something they not. By exposing these things that are secret, that if people knew would cause that. All right. To show them to be on a level that they truly are. All right. Now, he also said whether it be good or whether it be evil. Because the Lord judges every secret thing. The way with the response it ought to get in the way it should be handled. No matter if it's good or evil, a good thing he got to judge, or a very evil thing he got to judge. Or it's evil, when you break it down, the word is Eve, which means bad times. Eve meaning time and ill meaning bad. So these were obviously bad times in these people's lives is now coming out. Of course, everyone wanted to separate, say they didn't do nothing or separate now because dude did, and they probably not doing it now. But these things is done. So with that being said, we're going to go to Matthew chapter 10 and verse 26. Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. All right. So we're not supposed to fear them. All right. This why? Because they not who they say they are. I'm just getting this to just pretty much make a point. All right. That's pretty much it with that. I'm gonna get one last one. And I want to grab this too in the GNT. All right. That same verse. Matthew 20:10 and 26 in the GNT. So do not be afraid of, all right. So do not be afraid. Whatever is now covered up will be uncovered, and every secret will be made known. See? That's it. These people ain't nothing, man. He said, what am I telling you? What I am telling you in the dark, you must repeat in broad daylight. See? And what you have heard, because it's the truth. All right? It's reproof, it's corrected. It's things that need to be said. It's not things that need to be hid. All right? That's why these people deny these things and they hide them. Which is why they're a secret society, because they move in a way you shouldn't. They do things within a society that should be done. So it's a secret. But nonetheless, and the Epstein Island was a secret society. That's basically what it was. But it says, and whatever you have heard in private, you must announce from the housetops. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather be afraid of God, the Most High, the Heavenly Father. All right, Yahweh, who can destroy both body and soul in hell. All right. We bring out this information to let the earth know who these people are. You scale these people down to the size they actually are on. All right. It tells you that a wise man, he scaleth the city. This is Proverbs 21 and 22. It says, a wise man scaleth the city of the mighty. All right. And cast it down the strength of the confidence thereof. Right. You don't let these things be big and something that actually isn't, in your sight and in your mind. You bring things down to the level they actually are. You don't make things, allow things to be bigger than what they are. But let people be something they not. All right, because you're wise. All right, we don't make we don't give them more than we should. We don't give them more credit than they should. That's like scaling the city. All right, I don't make the city any more bigger than any more smaller than what it is. I make it exactly what it is. You see, and that's what the Lord wants us to do. And that's what these things coming out are for or about. So a wise man scaleth the city of the mighty. Who's the mighty? Obviously these people. All right. So-called white man, Esau, Edom, and cast it down the strength of the confidence thereof. Yeah, they not shit. In other words, y'all just this. Y'all just some more wacko, dark, and twisted people, freaks. All right. With your little secret societies and all that. Not really holy. Everyone isn't holy. And this is what we need saving from. This is in GNT, Proverbs 21:22. A shrewd general can take a city defended by strong men. See, a shrewd general can take a city defended by strong men. All right? Yeah, a shrewd general. What does it mean to be shrewd going into, or general going into what? Pretty much an army, a soldier. All right? Someone tactical, someone with sense, someone, with prudence. It says a shrewd general, though. So let's get the word shrewd. Shrewd. Having or showing sharp powers of judgment. Astute. See? That's what a shrewd general is. Someone that's, again, as you see the synonyms, perceptive, alert, farsighted, far-seeing, smart, not dumb. Heads up, got your head, on the swivel. All right, acute. You're very accurate in your assessment of things. By first and foremost assessing things. All right, that's the start. All right, and it says discriminating. You don't take everything at face value. You don't accept certain things. All right, just off back. You're discriminating. All right. You're not fanned out. All right. That's a good word, discriminating. Of a person having or showing refined taste or good judgment, meaning you're discerning. That's a synonym. All right. It says recognize a distinction. You differentiate. All right. So you're not on earth thinking everybody good and celebrities and superstars and people with a lot of money, they're just the best people. That's not what's going on. But that's how a lot of people are. And that's due to how these people try to present themselves and hide the very things if you knew to where you would know, like, yeah, man ain't nothing. And it's very sick and dark people on this earth. And this is exactly why the Messiah has to come back. This is what makes it relevant. No one cares about celebrities. I can give a dang less about a celebrity. But this is why it's important for you as the flock to know these things. All right? Because the Lord is having these things come out for a reason. All right? Because you make these people idols and things they not. And a lot of them sellouts. All right? You make these so-called white people bigger than what they are. You don't scale their city. All right? You don't differentiate. All right? Most of these people that's in that world, they in the dark, wacko, twisted things. It's that simple. Make unjust or prejudicial, right, distinction in the treatment of different categories of people, especially on grounds of ethnicity, sex, age, or disability. So regardless of what a person's race is, a person's gender is, age, or what they may have or may not have, a disability, you discriminate. All right, you make a distinction. You don't just make everything the same. You make them what it should be, what they are. So that's what that means, man. You scale a city. A wise man scaleth the city. But that's a whole nother lesson. I could do another lesson on that. So now I want to come here. So that's why we not to fear these people, man. All right, because we see them for what they are. Going back to that and that Matthew 10 and 26. It says, what? Fear them not, therefore. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. All right, so now we're going to go to the book of Mark, chapter 4 and 22. For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested. When something is manifest, it's made clear. It's brought out. It appears now. All right. The sustain there is going to show. It has to show. Lord not with that. All right. It says, neither was anything kept secret. Neither was anything kept secret. Things always never worked like this. Right. But that it shall come abroad. There was never stuff kept secret that wouldn't come out. In other words, times always work like this. All right. You found out what was really going on in kingdoms and so forth and so on, man. Behind a situation, it's like when a crime got to be solved. Eventually, they solve the case. A lot of cases these days, ironically, just be cold cases, meaning they don't solve them because why? We are in trifling times where where it's just really a time where people don't want to solve the case. People want things unanswered. That's how this world going. They don't look for who did this to this person, who killed this person, what happened to this person, all these lost kids. You go into Walmart and you used to see that board. They probably don't even have it up there no more. It used to be a board with dozens of lost kids, just never seen before again. But now here we are in 2026, and this is like something probably around 10, 15 years ago. Based off my age, I ain't old. You know what I'm saying? Pretty young, but or still young, but now all you're hearing about is all of these weird kid trafficking scandals that's coming out. Whole time, things that have been really, truly going on. So in other words, my point is when these kids that was on all these Walmart boards and had lost it of different ages, genders, so forth and so on, was said to not be found, obviously, because they still up there. It's just proven now in these days, they wasn't trying to find them because they knew what happened, you know? And obviously no one couldn't find them because they had been trafficked for all this weird stuff that was going on. Epstein Island, so forth and so on. Pizzagate, this stuff is real. But they'll tell you it's not real. All right. That's why I'm titling this video, all right, this exposing of Esau, which is the exposing of Esau, and, you know, and the revealing of things that's going on in the earth. So the wacko, dark, and twisted land does actually exist, and these people are liars. All right, and these people are liars. Or the things done in wacko, dark, and twisted land does actually exist, and these people are liars. All right, and this is gonna prove it. I'm gonna go ahead and end this. It says, so Jeffrey Epstein claims Bill Gates caught STI from Russian girls in newly released email. All right. It says that DOJ documents released on Friday shows emails attributed to Jeffrey Epstein alleging Bill Gates sought to hide an STD and requested antibiotics to give surreptitiously to Melinda French Gates. Epstein wrote the messages to his own account, apparently as drafts for Boris, for a staffer who worked for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. All right, because people are tied to people that they don't know, are tied to weird secret societies, you know, and freaks and crazy people. Whole time. All right. This is what they're doing. And these the people that's being allowed to run the earth and be the face of things and be the I want to be like this person, the people that people look up to or make as a reference, a frame of reference when they trying to pretty much convey that they want to be a certain status or a certain way, have a certain relationship. I think Jake used to rap about that in their songs, Bill and Melinda Gates. You know? It's crazy, but look what these people are tied to. I just want to be just like Bill and his wife, Bill and Melinda Gates. All right, their couple goals and all this other stuff. It says, it is unknown if they were ever sent to Bill Gates. Besides medical claims, the files detail Epstein's unverified allegations that Gates arranged drugs and illicit tirades with quote-unquote Russian girls, excluding explicit descriptions. All right, that's what it says. This email that he was sending to this person that worked for them, because when Epstein went down, he tried to take everybody that was involved with his weird ass down with him, which is ironic that he obviously dead now. So obviously someone killed him, you know? And so he was trying to point out these people who was probably trying to take him out the whole time. That's how these so-called white people is, man. All right? So you gotta understand a lot of this stuff, they're seeing as relationships is contractual, they fake, you know, and it's not, oh yeah, Jay-Z and Kanye is cool, or man, a lot of this stuff is just is bread and circus, is damn, it's just for show or whatever. But nonetheless, it says the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation issued a denial on Friday. Now remember that, calling the claims quote unquote absolutely absurd and completely false, quote unquote, while past Epstein ties remain a factor in the Gates divorce. So it's a fact they was dealing with this man. So it says the Justice Department stressed that the release reflects Epstein's own unverified claims with extensive redactions, and since Epstein's 2019 death, scrutiny of Bill Gates' ties has renewed. All right, y'all gonna all go down. Now this gonna prove that they liars, right? That wacko land obviously did exist, which is why they like, Hey man, I even knew this guy, which I'm gonna show right here. As you see, another article, Bill Gates apologizes for spending time with Epstein. I was foolish. Quote unquote, I was foolish. All right. It says on February 4th, 2026, Bill Gates apologized in a Nine News Australia interview, saying I was, quote unquote, I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him. See? So this proved that they're telling you that wacko, dark and twisted land did exist. And the the wacko and wacko or wacko, dark and twisted things done in these people's lands does exist. And they did exist. And this is always in existence and always known. But now it's just coming out. All right. Now, he denied what Epstein supposedly had on him, right? Now, check this out. As you see right here, it says Bill Gates gets caught in Epstein's wicked web. The remarkable thing revealed about Jeffrey Epstein over the past year is his huge talent for making connections with rich and powerful people. See? So them all the people, they ain't broke people that's involved in this. It's only the rich and affluent and then, the celebrities and, these top so-called white people that own everything. They're help make up these weird secret societies and wacko and dark and twisted lands. All right, wacko, dark and twisted lands. And things that's going on in the earth while being the rulers of the earth, which is why the Lord coming back, man. But yet you Jakes want to be like them, get over them, work for them, work to be like them, emulate them. All right, think everybody that think this and, don't want to take their talents to a certain level, if you will, on a carnal level, that is, as far as talents, are haters and just scared, like, all right, okay. Check this out. This is on the Huff Post. It says Desi Liddick cracks muddy zinger of the night at Bill Gates over Epstein fallout. All right. So it says the Microsoft co-founder confessed to two affairs, prompting a dirty joke from the Daily Show host. All right. So Desi Liddick on Thursday placed Bill Gates among the quote unquote creepy old men from every sector of society who have fallen from grace. See? So Desi Liddick on Thursday placed Bill Gates among the quote unquote creepy old men from every sector of society who have fallen from grace, quote unquote, since the Jeffrey Epstein files were released. See? The creepy old men that run everything, that's the face of everything, who you Jakes want to be like, are helping the wacko and dark and twisted things done in their lands be done in their lands. They actually help make the wacko, dark and twisted land that people believe or have a conspiracy to be a land that exists actually existing. See? So it does exist, and these people are liars. It says the host got down and dirty to make her point. So it says the Microsoft co-founders tied to the late Predator came to, I'm just saying for what it is, the Microsoft co-founders ties to the late sex predator came to light. So Gates apologized. That's crazy. Came to light. See? It says, so Gates apologized to his foundation this week, staff this week. See? While emphasizing he did nothing illegal. Right? Because you got people that could go get a job at Microsoft and think they just, because they're tied to someone who said to be at a time, it was a point in time where Bill Gates was the richest person on the earth. Right? Supposedly. And you got people through his company, Microsoft, and you got people, regular people, who can go get a job and think pretty much since they tied to him, they look good. You know? And ultimately, because of him being on a level, being said to be on a level at a point in time like that, have him as someone to have an adoration. That to where they basically idolizing him. But whole time, he's one of the many people who also have it like this. One of the many Edomites that also have it like this, who influence Jakes to be like this, that come over and be their puppets, right? Excuse me. So he's just one of the many who are involved, actually, in all actuality, all right, and these, like again, these wacko, dark and twisted things and lands or societies that exist. So it says, so Gates apologized to his foundation staff this week. Why? Why do you think? While emphasizing he did nothing illegal. Illegal. Not that he didn't do nothing, but he did nothing illegal. But he also acknowledged, let me jump to the point. Excuse me. It says, I did have affairs, but he also acknowledged he also acknowledged two affairs he had while married to ex-wife Melinda French Gates. In the files, Epstein appeared to threaten a tech magnate with knowledge of one of his infidelities. Quote unquote, I did have this from Bill Gates. Affairs, one with a Russian bridge player who met me at bridge events, and one with a Russian nuclear physicist who I met through business activities. Quote unquote, he said. The level of detail earned a quote unquote wow from the quote unquote daily show host, quote unquote, who imagined what the rest of his explanation might have sounded like. All right. So there you go. So I ain't even gonna read that part, but that's pretty much the point. So it's all coming out on these people. And again, that just, if you didn't catch it, revealed them to be liars. Because they denied all of this. See? They denied the STIs, all this weird stuff. So again, Bill Gates admits to affairs with Russian women, apologizes to staff over Epstein ties. See? But I'm gonna end it here. Bill Gates admitted during a Gates Foundation town hall on Tuesday, February 25, 2026, that he had extramarital affairs and apologized for his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, telling staff, I did nothing illicit. I saw nothing illicit. All right. So these mothers is preying on little boys and little girls, all this stuff going on. These people in Hollywood doing all this weird stuff. It's just madness, man. But they not letting nobody get in that will let it get out, or they're not moving in a way to where this is supposed to come out. But somehow it is. All right? Because there's nothing done in darkness that will not come to light, bro. So again, this all just proves because of that these dark and twisted lands, the wacko dark and twisted land does actually exist, man. You want to call it Epstein Island or whatever. All right. These weird parties, and, the director's couch, whatever. It all exists. And the wacko, or at the least the wacko dark and twisted things done in their lands does exist. And that's one of them. All right. If you never heard the story from what's the guy name from what's the dude name from Wolf of Wall Street? Jordan Belfort. Like the real Jordan Belfort. He's like, man, the party, man, it was like Sodom and Gomorrah in there, man. It was crazy. It's literally what he said, man. The brother Mahar showed me a video clip of it. Like the real actual one. These mothers in there doing all type of crazy drugs, coke, all over the place. It's just madness. And again, for those that don't know, Jordan Belfort was he a damn basically he was in the stocks in New York. A lot of money. Super rich, filthy rich. That's what these mugs do, man. All right. So those of you that want all this money on this side to try to pretty much live out the best of Esau's world, this is what the hell you get into. It's not the kingdom. These ones get to the top and they lose their mind. They don't know, they make less sense. They do things that's gonna get them killed, that's gonna have them die, like that's gonna have them lose their estates. That's what's going on. And that's what it takes to get over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. Lord willing, you learned something and got something out of this, man. A wise man scale the city, man. All right, he don't make the city of a mighty man. He don't make that man have more than what he actually have. He has nothing. These devils has nothing, man. All right, and they a bunch of losers, sellouts, weirdos. A lot of them. Not ain't got everybody with, and that ain't I mean everybody with some money or so-called doing good when it comes to certain fields or industries doing, involved in things like this. But we talking about Esau, Edom. All right, the ones running everything, man. Okay. So this is Psalms 85 and 11. Truth shall spring out of the earth and righteousness shall look down from heaven. All right. So truth is gonna come out, man. Just popping up all over the earth. And righteousness shall look down from the heaven. Yeah, the truth on what's going on. And that's the Heavenly Father looking down, because the Heavenly Father through the Son is looking down, finally putting the information out here to where we ain't scared of these people and we see these people for what they are. And we don't feel bad for where we are or aren't. All right. And have more reason to go on and look for a continuing city, and to be the actual rulers. All right. And understand why he calls them the devil. This is the Lord, this is the Lord's righteousness. All right. So with that, I'm going to say all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Akakodash. Till next time, shalom.